Welcome to another segment of my chemistry video as we continue with more concept, but this time we are focusing on percentage purity. Last time we looked at percentage yield, but now we are focusing on percentage purity. What exactly is percentage purity? Well, percentage purity, I can simply say, is the percentage of a pure, sample in an impure, sample. It sounds confusing. Let's say, is the percentage, or if you want, it's a ratio. You can say it's the percentage of a pure compound. Let me use the word compound of a pure compound in an impure sample. Yeah. So what is the percentage of a pure compound in an impure sample or substance that you have? Therefore, the formula that we can apply, we are going to be saying percent. Let me just shorten it and say percentage purity. Percentage purity will be equal to, so you are going to consider the mass of the mass of pure sample. So the mass of the pure sample that you have over, in this case, the total mass of impure sample that you may have. Then you multiply this by 100, because it's a percent, so you multiply it by 100. That's what we mean when you want to find percentage purity. Of course, it is possible for one again to find what we are calling as being percentage impurity. So if you want to find the percentage impurity, you can simply say mass of impure. So you can say the mass of impure sample, the mass of the impure sample that you have over, in this case, the total mass of the sample that you have, and multiply by 100. Of course, alternatively, if a person wanted to get the percentage impurity, you can simply say it will be just 100% minus what we are calling as being the percentage the percentage purity. So if you know how much pure substance is there, you can also get the percentage impurity by applying that formula. That is what we mean. But let's show you using an example without wasting time. So let's put up an example there without wasting time so that we can see how we can go about it. We can simply say that 150 gram sample of copper, 150 gram sample of copper, contains, let's say it contains 87.3 grams of, pure copper. It contains pure copper. And I tell you to say calculate the percentage. So then I tell you to say calculate the percentage purity. Well, it becomes easy for you to actually calculate the percentage purity. Let me try to use a different marker as I try to answer that. Now, of course, they are telling you 150 grams of sample of copper contains that mass of copper, of pure copper. So there's that mass of pure copper. Calculate the percentage purity. So if you remember the formula, the percentage, purity, we did say the percentage purity is equal to, you need to look at the mass over mass of the pure sample that you have over, in this case, the total mass over the whole sample, the total mass of sample, but you multiply that by, percent, 100%. Excuse me. So the total mass of the pure sample was what they gave us there. It was simply 87.3 over, what's the total mass of the sample? The sample was simply 150. then times 100. Remember, that is a percentage. So if you work out that on your calculator to one decimal place, it is going to give you 58.2%. So 58.2%, that is the percentage. That is the percentage purity of the copper in this whole mass that we were given. All right. Let's look at a typical example there. We show you a typical example. I've already written one this side so that I can basically get to assist you. So it says 7.0 grams of impure calcium carbonate was heated and 2.42 grams of carbon dioxide was collected. I think I left an equation. This question should have had an equation that we were given. So definitely write that equation. So they gave you an equation, calcium carbonate, when it is heated, it decomposes into calcium oxide. It decomposes into calcium oxide and CO2, which is carbon dioxide. So that's the balanced equation they gave you. So the question was saying 7.0 grams of impure calcium carbonate was heated and 2.42 grams of carbon dioxide was collected. Calculate the percentage purity. So the question wants you to calculate the percentage purity of calcium carbonate. Now, if you notice, what was the total mass of the impure calcium carbonate? It was 7.0 grams. So when this was heated, the mass of carbon dioxide that was collected was 2.42 grams. So this mass that was collected can help you to know the mass that was pure in the calcium carbonate. All right, so let's work, let me say in a reverse direction by using this to know what was the mass that produced that mass of carbon dioxide. So you start from the balanced chemical equation. We are going to compare calcium carbonate and also carbon dioxide. So we need to find the midst of that and the midst of that to simplify our life. So let me quickly just do that. This is what we have there. So oxygen is 3 times 16 to give you 48. Carbon is 1 times 12 to give you a 12. Calcium is 1 times the atomic mass 40 to give you 40. If you add that, it will give you 100. What about carbon dioxide? There's oxygen and carbon. So 2 times 16, that will give you a 32. Then 1 times 12 will give you a 12. So it is 32 plus 12, that will give us a 44. All right. So meaning from the balanced chemical equation, the mass of calcium carbonate, when you calculate that, it's 100. So I'm going to say 100 gram of calcium carbonate produced what mass of carbon dioxide? So remember the mixture we calculated for that is 44 grams of carbon dioxide. So now what I'm going to do now, because I wanted to know the mass that was pure in there, I'm going to say, suppose now, if this 2.42 grams of carbon dioxide was produced, what mass produced this one here of calcium carbonate? We don't know, so we'll cross multiply this times that. It is going to give you a 44x, which is equal to 100 multiplied by 2.42. To find x, I'll divide 44. What I do this side, I'll do it the other side. So meaning that x, you can put it on your calculator. So that is going to be equal to 100 multiplied by 2.42. It is giving me 242 divided by 44. I'm simply just getting a 5.5. So a 5.5 grams of calcium carbonate. So meaning this was the mass of the pure substance. So out of the 7 grams that was there, only 5.5 grams was pure. So this was actually pure. So this was the only one which was pure. Meaning, if you subtract, if you subtract 7 minus 5.5, you are going to have 1.5, which was impure, but this was pure. Now the question says we calculate the percentage purity of calcium carbonate. So it simply means that the percentage I'm going to say that the percentage purity, so the percentage purity will be equal to, so it's the mass of pure calcium carbonate over the total mass of calcium carbonate, then multiply this by 100. So what is the mass of the pure carbon? It is simply 5.5 over the total mass is simply 7.0 grams. Then we multiply that by 100. Therefore, the percentage purity, if you work out that on your calculator to one decimal place, you are going to have 78.6% of calcium carbonate. That was the percentage purity. So this is what I wanted you to get. So that is the way you can go about calculating the percentage purity. Thank you for watching my video. Appreciate. Watch out for more videos.